It's not, man. I know it's not. The draft lottery is not rigged, but there's a very interesting conversation to be had about it being rigged in the first place, which is why we're kind of making this video. So, part of the reason this is even a thing is because of the winner. We know who won. Chicago won. Is it the outcome that anybody outside of Chicago would have wanted? Unless you're a Blackhawks fan cheering remotely for your team, probably not. But ever since the draft lottery has come and gone, we had ourselves a lot of conversations going on about the process of said lottery, who deserves to be in it if Chicago was worthy of being part of it in the first place, and the big kicker came from Elliotte Friedman speaking about this on the 32 Thoughts podcast. Take a look at this quote. It's actually from Instagram, NHL Breakers. They posted a conspiracy graphic talking about people in the NHL believing it's rigged, but the real meat and potatoes of this idea comes in the caption. It goes over what Elliotte Friedman said on 32 Thoughts, so let's go ahead and read this. Elliotte Friedman on the recent 32 Thoughts pod said he was shocked to hear how many people from actual organizations came to reporters and the league with concerns that the draft lottery was quote-unquote rigged. He said this wasn't the normal emotional fan outrage which he understands. These were people he considers to be very intelligent that were convinced the lottery was rigged. These were people across the league in executive jobs to even some players on teams coming forth with their apprehensions. While Friedman acknowledges that he didn't expect people of this caliber to react this way, he still believes the lottery was not rigged in the slightest. And I'll say that the way this caption reads, like when I say it like that, it feels very dramatic. When you listen to the actual audio though, you could tell that Friedman is being a little tongue-in-cheek about it, like, oh yeah, like people are saying it's rigged, it's kind of wild. Like, oh, that's crazy, is it not, Merrick? Yeah. Like, there's a little bit of a flavor that says, yeah, okay, Friedman is just kind of, you know, taking this on as a bit. It's not really a super serious thing that a lot of people are saying, hey, NHL, Gary, come on, call Gary, get this guy on the phone because the draft lottery is rigged. And for the most part, I know a lot of people in the comment section of my videos, every time we talk about Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks winning him, they all say it's rigged too, but I know most of the time y'all are joking. There's only a very select few amount of people that are like, yeah, no, I legitimately have reason to believe that the NHL wanted Chicago to win, that they rigged this themselves because they actually wanted control over where Bedard went. And part of the reason it's so difficult this year compared to others is because Chicago is like, look, I said this at the beginning of the draft stream, but out of all the teams, all the 10 teams that were available to win Bedard, Chicago was the one team that I didn't want to win. And I'll say this again, for all y'all Chicago fans, this is not on you. Not on you at all. Y'all can be happy about your guy. You got Bedard, he's coming to Chicago. He's going to replace Patrick Kane. That's amazing. Good for you. As a fan, you have a lot to cheer about. But organizationally speaking, I did not think your team was the team. Firstly, it was the historical level of success. The amount of times the Chicago Blackhawks team was a menace to compete against, 3 Stanley Cups in the span of 6 playoff runs, and you had a franchise talent in Patrick Kane alongside of a franchise defenseman in Duncan Keith, a leader on the ice in Jonathan Toews that led you to those 3 Stanley Cups, and you were just doing all of this in the past decade. When it comes to the NHL giving the spotlight to teams to diversify, you know, to give parity, to make it so that not the same teams are going out there and winning year in and year out, this goes out there and does the opposite. Because Connor Bedard is going over to a Chicago Blackhawks franchise that is so fresh from winning so many Stanley Cups that it's kind of sickening to see how much success they're going to be able to have with Bedard in their lineup. And then you have yourselves the other stuff. Because I'll tell you this, after Connor Bedard's future was determined on TV a few days ago, the number one phrase that was trending on my Twitter was Kyle Beach. Because everybody was going out there saying, wait a minute, Chicago went out there and covered up the entire SA situation with Kyle Beach for a decade. Aside from the guys getting involved losing their jobs, the Blackhawks organization, just as a team, did not suffer any consequences, and now they're getting first overall? Here's a reminder that teams have the ability to get their draft picks removed. John Cullen tweeted this out. This got 1.4 million views on Twitter. Arizona, they hold pre-draft workouts and they lose a first-round pick. New Jersey, remember this? They signed Ilya Kovalchuk to a contract that was legal at the time, and then they lost their first-round pick because of it. Chicago, they cover up SA for a decade, and they get Connor Bedard. Here's a reply from Digital Sam I mean, it's pretty clear the NHL has an agenda, and that agenda involves Chicago being good again. You're 100% correct, they should have lost multiple first-round picks, but the NHL isn't in the business of being fair. They're in the business of making money. And because this outcome in particular was so disfavorable amongst anybody not in Chicago, you've got the uprising, you've got the people saying, yeah, no, it's rigged, rigged, rigged. Even Elliotte Friedman is saying, yeah, people around the NHL are sort of saying that it's rigged. And it surprises him because you normally don't see people in this sort of world saying that. Like, you'll see the fans and people on Instagram saying that it's rigged, and that's okay. You see it rigged all the time. But not people that are actually working in the league. It's funny because for me personally, like, I believe in my heart of hearts, this is not rigged. We had Frank Saravelli go out there with an article exquisitely detailing every single step as to what happens during the draft lottery and to how these draft lottery combinations are determined and everything. So I have reason to believe, based off of that article and everything that we have seen in the past few years, that the draft lottery is done legitimately. Like, there's no rigging here in the slightest. They do the lottery balls, they pull out all the balls there, and they actually have themselves a video, or at least they normally post a video after the fact of them drawing the lottery balls one by one, and that normally goes online. So the NHL has a good backup here. They always do. They always find a way to show off, yeah, like, this is the actual lottery process being done. It's not rigged. And you could say, oh, but they could just rig the video. They could decide who they want to win, go with a winning combination, and then make a video afterwards of them falsifying whatever lottery balls. But the thing is, Frank Saravelli was there this time, man. He watched it happen live. So, I don't know, the article is on there. Bottom line is, it's not rigged, and I think a lot of people understand that it's not rigged. It's just this outcome was so bad for the outlook of the NHL that unless you're a Chicago Blackhawks fan, you've got reason to be ticked off. Like, we get it, Chicago was too good of a gosh darn team. This was the only time where they decided they're gonna be bad. And then they get Bedard. Like, it's only been a few months where this team did not have a first overall franchise-changing talent. And now they get another one? They get a guy who's gonna be playing similarly to Patrick Kane with the wrist shot of an Austin Matthews? Like, come on, get out of here, man. How can you go out there and say that this is deserved? Chicago was so good for so long. The team didn't deserve this. And I know there'll be the Chicago Blackhawks fans in the comments, and I know I'm pissing y'all off. But again, I said this in the draft stream, I'll say this again, don't get pissed off at me for being pissed off about it. Just be happy you get Connor Bedard. There's gonna be naysayers like me, like everybody in the comment section of this video, like everybody on the Instagram pages, everybody on Reddit, everybody on Twitter. Everybody is gonna talk smack about your team winning, but that doesn't matter. You won. So just be happy about that. And let us go out there and experience these 5 stages of grief because our organizations are not gonna be getting Connor Bedard. I wanted Bedard on my team so badly, man. 3% odds, I know it was so slim, but I tried to manifest it, but it didn't work. Connor Bedard going over to Vancouver is not going to happen, and we got to come to terms with that. Macklin Celebrini time, baby. Let's go 2024. But either way, thoughts in the comment section below about the draft lottery being rigged. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99, and bye.